morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John McGregor and I'm from Foundation Expo 88 and the 25th anniversary of World Expo 88 People's Committee, and we're here at Roma Street Parklands in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, doing a series of videos for Foundation Expo 88's YouTube channel in the lead up to the 25th anniversary of World Expo 88 next year in 2013. And in particular, in these series of videos, we'll be concentrating on some of the unique heritage that was given to us by the hosting World Expo 88 in the form of art. And right here, as you can see, we have one of the most outstanding works from Expo 88, that is Continuous Division by Australian sculptor Greg Johns. And this particular work was located at the Melbourne Street entrance to World Expo 88, where it could be seen by all near and far. And at the conclusion of the expo, it was gifted to the city of Brisbane by a company called Pacific Waste Management. So here it is in Roma Street Parklands, which is, as I mentioned, right in the centre of the Brisbane CBD, and it's in fact the world's largest subtropical garden in a CBD area. But first of all, let me give you a bit of background into Mr. Greg Johns himself, and I'll read here from this statement. Greg Johns was born in Adelaide, South Australia in 1953 and was trained at the South Australian School of Art between 1975 and 1978, later graduating with a Diploma of Fine Arts. He started working full-time as a sculptor from 1978, and he is a member of several prestigious sculpture associations, including the New York Sculptors Guild, and he is also a member of the International Sculpture Centre. He has exhibited with the New Art Centre London, and with the New York Sculptors Guild New York, and the Robert Steele Gallery, also in New York. He has won numerous Australian and international awards for his work, including some with Indigenous Australian themes. And he is a Helpman Academy mentor for young artists. Now, I have a particular statement here to read also from a colleague of his, Heather Elliard, and it's a very interesting statement, and it's very interesting in how it pertains to continuous division as well. So I'll read this out, and it talks about Greg Johns' work in general and how he uses space and time. So here again, this statement, which is called Essay by Heather Elliard. Sculpture occupies space. It is three-dimensional. Therefore, it exists in time. Space and time, a continuum. Anything which requires space demands time to exist in that space. Greg Johns' work is particularly and carefully attuned to this principle. He has, with great consistency, worked with the theme of form and space and change through time. Greg works within a framework of art historical continuity, what I call a timeline. He is making his line, his position, and he works along with it with integrity and energy. That line comes from an abstract formal tradition, Brancusi, Noguchi, Meadmore, etc., using formal geometric elements, using systems and patterns without deviation, interruption or temptation, precisely and purely. He has been labelled a formalist. If he were that and nothing more, he would still be good, but he is more than structure, formal geometry, or monumental mathematics. It is what I have coined geometric metamorphosis. I mean, he uses geometry, an ancient and honourable tool, in order to explore change, both physically and metaphysically. The work stands utterly mute and monumental, yet the pieces change, move, metamorphose from one thing to another, and are present to our own movement and our own perceptions of change. The work becomes in this way symbolic of opposites correlating, lining up together, exchanging habits. The square circles, the curve straightens, the inside becomes the outside, the open closes, the contemplative teases. Greg himself calls it opposites coming together. Greg is working with a balance of opposites, and I'm indicating that balance, in our time, is precarious at best. Finally, I would like to quote from Fritjof Capra, the author of a beautiful book called The Tao of Physics, published in 1975. But I must preface that when saying that Capra, as a physicist, was led to contemplative writing by this book by a profound sense of the destructive imbalance in our modern world. Capra says, "Modern physics pictures matter not at all as passive and inert, but as being in a continuous dancing and vibrating motion whose rhythmic patterns are determined by the molecular, atomic and nuclear structures. This is also the way in which the Eastern mystics see the material world. They all emphasize that the universe has to be grasped dynamically as it moves, vibrates, and dances. That nature is not static, but in a dynamic equilibrium. In the words of a Taoist text, the stillness in stillness is not the real stillness. Only when there is stillness in movement can the spiritual rhythm appear which pervades heaven and earth.